In a small town where the sun seemed to shine a little brighter and the streets were filled with the sound of laughter and the rustle of leaves, there lived a 12-year-old boy named Leo. Leo was not like the other kids in his class. While they were busy trading Pokemon cards or discussing the latest superhero movies, Leo found solace in numbers. To him, math was a language, a beautiful tapestry woven with patterns and logic that spoke to him in ways that words could not. He often spent his afternoons hunched over his desk, scribbling equations and solving problems that left his classmates scratching their heads in confusion. One ordinary Tuesday, as the teacher droned on about the Pythagorean theorem, Leo's mind began to wander. He absent-mindedly picked up his pencil and started doodling on the margins of his notebook. At first, it was just a series of spirals and geometric shapes, but soon the doodles transformed into equations. The symbols danced across the page, and before he knew it, Leo had stumbled upon something remarkable. As he wrote, the numbers began to align, and a sense of clarity washed over him. He was solving a problem that had puzzled mathematicians for decades, an unsolved equation that had become a legend in the world of mathematics. When the bell rang, signaling the end of class, Leo was still absorbed in his work. His teacher, Ms. Harper, noticed the intensity with which he was scribbling and approached him. "What do you have there, Leo?" she asked, peering over his shoulder. As he turned the notebook toward her, her eyes widened in disbelief. The equations were not just random numbers. They formed a coherent solution to a famous mathematical problem known as the Riemann hypothesis. Ms. Harper, a passionate educator who believed in nurturing talent, recognized the significance of what she was seeing. Without a moment's hesitation, she took a picture of the page and shared it on her social media, tagging various mathematicians and educational institutions. Within hours, Leo's name began to circulate in academic circles, and the world of mathematics was set ablaze by the news of a young boy who had potentially solved one of the greatest mysteries of the mathematical world. As the story spread, it caught the attention of the media. News outlets clamored for interviews, and Leo found himself thrust into the spotlight. He was invited to conferences where he spoke alongside renowned mathematicians. The excitement was intoxicating, and Leo reveled in the attention. His parents, who had always encouraged his love for math, were proud and supportive, basking in the glow of their son's newfound fame. But amidst the whirlwind of interviews and accolades, a shadow loomed over Leo's life. His father, who had left when Leo was just a toddler, suddenly reappeared. Leo had spent years wondering about the man who had walked out of his life, leaving behind only a void that his mother had filled with love and encouragement. The reunion was unexpected and jarring. Leo's father, a once promising mathematician himself, claimed he had been following Leo's journey from afar and had even played a role in teaching him the concepts that led to his groundbreaking discovery. "Leo, you have to understand," his father said, his voice a mix of pride and desperation. "I taught you the fundamentals. I showed you how to think about numbers. This is my moment too." The words hung heavily in the air, and Leo felt a surge of anger and confusion. How could he claim credit for something so uniquely his? The hours spent in solitude, the struggles, the triumphs, all were his alone. Yet the man standing before him was not just a stranger. He was a piece of Leo's past, a ghost that had haunted him for years. As days turned into weeks, the media frenzy continued to grow. Leo was awarded a $1 million prize for his contribution to mathematics, a sum that felt surreal to him. Interviews flooded in, and he was invited to prestigious universities to present his findings. But with every accolade came the weight of his father's presence. The man who had walked away was now trying to step back into Leo's life, and the boy grappled with feelings of resentment and longing. One evening, Leo sat in his room, the glow of his desk lamp illuminating the equations that had changed his life. He thought about his father, the man who had abandoned him, but now wanted to claim a part of his success. The conflict within him grew, and he realized he needed to confront the truth. He invited his father over for a conversation, hoping to untangle the web of emotions that had ensnared them both. When they sat across from each other, the air was thick with unspoken words. Leo took a deep breath, summoning the courage to speak. "Why did you leave?" he asked, his voice steady but laced with pain. His father's expression faltered, and for a moment he seemed lost in thought. "I was young and scared," he finally admitted. "I thought I was doing what was best for you and your mother. I didn't want to drag you down with my failures." Leo listened, his heart aching for the boy his father had once been. "But you missed everything. You missed me." The words came out sharper than he intended, but they were true. His father nodded, tears brimming in his eyes. "I know, I can't change the past, Leo, but I want to be part of your future. I want to help you, to guide you." The conversation shifted as Leo shared his journey, the hours spent alone with numbers, the joy of discovery, and the pride of solving a problem that had baffled the greatest minds. He realized that while his father had played a role in his early education, the passion, the drive, and the genius were all his own. It was a moment of clarity, a realization that his identity was not solely tied to his father's influence. He was Leo, a mathematician in his own right. As they talked, the barriers between them began to dissolve. They shared stories, laughter, and tears, slowly unraveling the complexities of their relationship. Leo understood that his father's absence had shaped him, but it did not define him. He was not just a product of his father's legacy. He was carving his own path in the world of mathematics. In the weeks that followed, Leo and his father began to rebuild their relationship. They spent time together, discussing math and life, exploring the intricacies of the universe through the lens of numbers. Leo found himself teaching his father some of the concepts he had mastered, turning the tables in a way that felt empowering. The bond they forged was tentative but real, built on mutual respect and understanding. As Leo continued to embrace his newfound fame, he also remained grounded, aware of the responsibilities that came with it. He decided to use a portion of his prize money to establish a scholarship for young mathematicians, hoping to inspire others to pursue their passions just as he had. He wanted to create a legacy that extended beyond his own achievements, one that would empower future generations to explore the beauty of mathematics. The world watched as Leo transformed from a child prodigy into a young man of integrity and purpose. He navigated the complexities of fame with grace, always remembering the lessons he had learned along the way. His father, now a part of his life, stood by his side, supporting him as he ventured into uncharted territories of mathematical exploration. In the end, Leo discovered that genius was not just about solving equations or winning prizes. It was about connection, understanding, and the power of relationships. It was about finding one's identity amidst the chaos of expectations and realizing that true success lies not in accolades, but in the journey of self-discovery. As the sun set on the horizon, casting a warm glow over their small town, Leo sat at his desk, pencil in hand, ready to tackle the next great challenge that awaited him. With his father beside him, he felt a sense of belonging and purpose, knowing that he was not just a brilliant mathematician, he was a son, a friend, and a beacon of hope for those who dared to dream. The world of mathematics was vast, and Leo was just beginning to explore its infinite possibilities.